All right, in this video, I'm going to show you and explain in detail how USI and what we call the BTC packages allow you to grow the amount of Bitcoin you have. So if you start with something very, very small, like my daughter, she's 16, she put 0.018 Bitcoin into a USI BTC package, through my account. Someone under 18 can't have just to be clear, can't have a USI account, but my kids are investors, and with my Scottrade account for years, when I used to do stock trading, and now cryptocurrency, they participate through my investments. And my 15 or 16, she just turned 16. She wanted to participate in this, so she put 0.018 Bitcoin into a BTC package. Now, at the time that she did that, Bitcoin was at about $10,000. That might be different by the time you're watching this. It could be up, it could be down over time. We know that it's going to go way up if you listen to the experts. But let's just see what 0.018 Bitcoin is so you understand this particular example. So I'm just doing this on my calculator, 0.018 times 10,000. Those who can do math quick will know right away it's $180. And a BTC package costs $60. So she was able to get 3 BTC packages. Now my point is, had she just held on to the Bitcoin, then if Bitcoin went up, sure, she would make a profit. Let's say when Bitcoin goes to 20,000, she would have doubled her money. If Bitcoin, when it went down, she would have lost money. But what I'm going to show you today is how USI allows her and you and me to grow the amount of Bitcoin that we have. And that's really, really significant, because now when Bitcoin goes to 20,000, she doesn't just double her money. She's going to have many times that, because depending on how much time we're talking about, 6 months, 1 year, and I'll show you all this, she will have significantly multiplied the amount of Bitcoin that she had. And so obviously she makes significantly more when Bitcoin goes up. And more important, I think more importantly, at least it takes the stress out of it. So that's really important to reduce anxiety in our lives. For those of you who get nervous when you see something that you bought going down in value, like you buy Bitcoin, it goes down, and that makes you uncomfortable and it makes you worried. USI allows us to do what we call in the investing world hedge, which means really prevent us from having significant losses even if Bitcoin goes down. Because we're multiplying the amount of Bitcoin we have, even if you're starting with very little like my daughter, then Bitcoin can go down by a significant amount and you're still up because you have more Bitcoin. So whether Bitcoin goes up or down, you're still profiting. So that's what I'm going to show you today. I think it's really, really powerful. And I've not only been able to multiply my Bitcoin and grow a tremendous amount of Bitcoin, and I'll show you some of that, but hundreds and hundreds of people that I've shown this strategy to and introduced USI to, and this BTC package strategy, have also grown Bitcoin. In fact, everyone who starts generating a return on their capital the very next day. And over the course of about 7 months, will have made, even if they don't apply all of the strategy, will have made a 40% return. So they will have gotten 100% of what they put in back plus 40% more Bitcoin in about 7 months, and I'll explain the details of that. But more importantly, there's an additional strategy that I'm going to show you today that if you apply it, and it's extremely easy, like ridiculously easy, you can do it just automatically, but you have to do it. You have to press a button and make sure it's there, but I'll show you that. It's just a decision you make. If you're willing to let time work for you a little longer than 7 months, like let's say you want to do 8 months or a year, you're able to compound your Bitcoin significantly more than just growing it by the 40%. So that's what I'm going to show you, is how to grow Bitcoin. I want you to really understand. I gave you the example of my daughter was starting out with a very small amount. You can start out with a very small amount, in her case 0.018, but instead of just holding Bitcoin, you can purchase BTC packages with USI. I'm going to explain to you how this works, and you can grow the amount of Bitcoin you have. It's insanely profitable when you can get compounding working for you and growing the amount of Bitcoin you have. I'm going to take you out of this. I'm going to go into my USI back office. Now it shows my earnings and so forth. I've been into this a little less than 3 months, and it is mind-boggling how much Bitcoin I've been able to grow. And I'll talk about all of that, but before I go in there, I want to make sure you're registered in USI. I don't want this to be construed as an income claim by the FTC. So before I go in here, first of all, you should be registered into USI. If you're not, we provided you a link to register to USI so you'd have access to your back office. This is not intended to be an income claim or anything like that. Your results will be decided by the work that you put into it. I also want to say you may just decide to be like an investor, and you don't have to teach people like I do. You don't have to refer people to educational materials like this. You don't have to be involved with referring people to it at all. You don't have to treat this as a business at all. And you can take advantage of the BTC packages and the return on capital and growing your Bitcoin. But because I have taken on the role as an educator, it's important for me to say to you that what you're about to see is not an income claim. It's just this is what I've accomplished with my business with USI, and you should be registered in USI before you continue, and there's a link for you to do that. Okay, so let's go ahead and go into my back office, and you can see that you know, I've done extremely well. Lifetime grand total here over 50 Bitcoin. This isn't BTC packages. This is actually Bitcoin, and Bitcoin now is valued at the time of recording this 10,793. So, you know, it's well over 500,000 if you were to convert that into cash right now, which I could easily have done. Now, I did withdraw a lot of this, and I've done a lot of things with it. I've purchased a diamond package, which is their tokens. They're going to be doing a launch, and you guys don't need to know all of this. I'm not going to go into all of this today, but I want you to know that I have withdrawn large sums of that and invested into other places, including USI's tokens. I've also withdrawn some of that and invested it back into the business, like advertising and so forth, and expenses. But a lot of that, most of that, I've reinvested back into the BTC packages I'm going to be talking about. So I'm getting an even greater return on capital. And you can see down here today, I'll get 0.3755 Bitcoin. And I'd be getting that. You get this part even if you never referred anybody, even if you never decided to become an educator of what's happening like I am, or you never referred people to a presentation like this. For those of you who do want to build a business out of this and generate significantly more Bitcoin, you have that option, you have that opportunity. You can certainly learn about how we help you do that. Those on my team are growing faster. We're the fastest growing team in all of USI because of a system that we've created that's very educational, and you guys all can plug into that and do extraordinarily well. But if you don't, and you don't want to have anything to do with that, and you just want to learn how you can purchase these BTC packages, get your Bitcoin to work. Maybe you don't have Bitcoin yet. We can show you how to get Bitcoin and put that into a BTC package and get this return. This would be the return on capital that you pay attention to. This would be the main number that you would pay attention to. This one here, active BTC packages, representing how many BTC packages you got, which again I'm going to talk about more today. And then your return on capital is what you'd be getting per day. Now, in this case, because I have 4,064 BTC packages, I'm getting a return of 0.3755 Bitcoin. So I'm going to get that today. It hasn't hit yet. It hits every day on weekdays. Let's see how much that's going to be. 0.3755 Bitcoin today times it's 10,790 at the moment. That can fluctuate. Don't watch the fluctuations too closely on a day-to-day, week-to-week basis. Watch Bitcoin over 3-month benchmarks, and you see that it's a steady incline up. People are saying, oh, it's so volatile. Well, that's because you're watching it on a day-to-day or week-by-week basis. Watch it over a period of some reasonable amount of time so you could see the pattern. It's almost straight up, and it's been that way for a very, very long time, and it will be continuing to do that for a very, very long time. If you listen to any of the experts or watch any of our longer presentations on that, you'll understand why, that it's just at the bottom still. Even if we were watching this and it had dropped significantly over time and not that much time, it will adjust and it will go back up. We can talk about all of that later and to understand why it's so you know, what's happening, why it's so volatile short term, but why it's going up long term, and why it continues to go up long term. We could talk about all that in a different presentation. But just notice today, doing the math here, today my return on capital, because I have over 4,000 packages, will be $4,051 if I were to convert that into cash, which I could do. This is going to be given to me. It's going to be deposited into my balance later today, and I can withdraw it. And I have videos on withdrawing. I withdrew over 2 Bitcoin, I believe, in one of my videos. In one transaction. In fact, let me just go there real quick. If I click on View Wallet, you see I have 2 pending withdrawals right now. One for 0.87 Bitcoin, one for 0.44 Bitcoin. This is just from what came in yesterday, and that wasn't all of it. A lot of what came in yesterday I bought more packages with, but I am withdrawing a lot for tomorrow because I'm going to be purchasing another diamond token package with it. With USI. We'll talk about that in a different video, the token packages. They're going to come out with, they're coming out with their own tech coin that I want to be a part of. But anyway, if I go to withdraw here, you know, you can see you can easily withdraw. You just send it off to your wallet, and from your wallet you can turn it into cash if you want to. And then down here you can see all the withdrawals I've done, 1.44 Bitcoin on November 30th. You know, you can go all the way down here. And I think I did a recording of one of my bigger ones, 2.14 Bitcoin on November 16th. You know, I recorded that for those that want to see that. But let's talk about the BTC packages. I just want to get you a feel, give you a feel of what's going on without going into everything. And I'm just going to focus for the rest of today just on, you know, if you just wanted to purchase BTC packages, didn't want to do the business, didn't want to be an educator, didn't want to refer people to educator content like this, and get referrals and get commissions that way. I might reference it here and there because some of the stats have my commissions, but I'm going to stay focused primarily from this point forward today in this video on just those of you that want to understand how the BTC packages work. What are they? How are they growing Bitcoin? How does all that work, and how can you look at those stats back here? In a different video, I talked about USI Tech. Who is USI Tech? And the company and the organization and all of that. I'm not going to talk about that here. It'd be too long. I'm going to talk about in this video. Okay, so a BTC package, you might want to take some notes on this. I didn't create slides. I just want you to be able to see my back office and understand how to use your back office, your dashboard. We call this a dashboard. You can log in if you registered with USI, which you should have if you're watching this. You can access all of this now. You can buy a BTC package. We have a video on how to do that. You can go get Bitcoin if you don't have it. We have a video on how to do that. And very quickly, relatively easy in comparison to the reward, and how easily set up on autopilot it can be once you get it in place. You can have all this going and very quickly with our other videos. But here I just want you to understand how it works. Okay, so a BTC package is 50 euro. So write that down, 50 euro, which is about $60. And I say about $60 US because that depends on the exchange rate of dollar to euro. But it's about $60. And it's always 50 euro. That's the set price. So you actually buy the BTC package in Bitcoin. So the price will fluctuate depending on the price of Bitcoin, but we don't worry about that. We have a system here, we have a process here, and whatever you're buying it at, your Bitcoin is growing. You know, when you buy a BTC package, I'm going to share with you how the Bitcoin is growing. I just want you to know that you pay for it in Bitcoin because that's an important part of understanding how you're growing Bitcoin. So again, the price is set at 50 euro for a BTC package. Translates to about $60 for those of you in the US or who think in terms of dollars. And if you want to buy lots of BTC packages, you can. It just costs, that much more. If I buy 10 BTC packages, that would be about $600. But what I want you to understand is that, and I got to get this across so you're not going to understand how BTC packages work. You buy the packages using Bitcoins. You have to get Bitcoin first to buy a BTC package. Okay, so today, if I go to see how much a BTC, by the way, I got to say this again. This is important to understanding how they work. You have to understand that you're paying in BTC. So I'm going to get to how all this works and how this pays you and how it grows. But I want to go to place order just to see what the price is right now. So if we were to buy a BTC package, it would be 0.005454 Bitcoin. And by the way, after I share all this, I recommend people just get a BTC package, risk something very, very small. It's like $60. and watch it grow. You're going to learn really fast then. I mean, I started with 11 packages my first time, and as soon as the next day I got the return going, and I started to understand things a little bit better, I got more. But you start with what you're comfortable with, and that's if that's just 60 bucks or 50 euro, and you get one BTC package to start seeing it work, then fine. That's where you start. That you don't need to start with a lot. So it's not like you have to have 100% faith and understanding and everything at the level that I do in order to begin testing it and learning with something that you feel comfortable with testing. Keep that in mind. So right now it costs 0.005454 Bitcoin to purchase a BTC package, which is about 60 bucks. And if Bitcoin continues to go up like it's starting to do today, then that price would go down. Why? Because as Bitcoin becomes more valuable, then it's cheaper to, it takes less Bitcoin to buy things that are priced on the euro or the dollar. If you don't understand that, that's okay. You're paying in Bitcoin is what you have to understand. You're buying the BTC packages using Bitcoin. And again, if you don't have Bitcoin yet, we can help you get it. It's not a problem. But I just need you to really get, and remember for the rest of today, you are buying the BTC package using Bitcoin, even though we often reference it as costing 60 bucks or 50 euro, because that's the set amount, but we're buying it in Bitcoin, okay? Okay, so you buy this BTC package. What's USI doing with it? Now, you can watch the video on USI for more details about all of that. I'm not going to go too deep into that, but they're basically taking that money and they are investing it into crypto trading, which I'll explain real briefly in a moment, and into arbitrage trading, which I'll explain a little bit as well. So what are they doing? Again, the video on USI Tech will go into this in more detail. You can watch that separately, but it is kind of important to understand how the BTC packages work to understand what they're doing with that money, or with that Bitcoin. So they're taking that Bitcoin and they are doing trading using their sophisticated software. And I do say sophisticated. USI stands for United Software Intelligence, and for many years they were already an established company long before they offered this opportunity to us in the Forex market. The Forex market is the foreign exchange market. It's, for those that don't know what that is, think of like NASDAQ or New York Stock Exchange for those of you in the US or your country's market, but it's like global, it's international. So they call it the foreign exchange market, or Forex. And it's very, very large and very popular among investors worldwide. That's what they did. They created software and had software that allowed them to dominate in the trading of the Forex. And so they would take investors' money. They did this for years, high-end clients, and they would invest that using their software. Their software tells them what to buy and what to sell and how to move large sums of funds around very, very quickly. And I don't know if you guys realize this, all of you listening, I know some of you do, but large banks and financial institutions and hedge funds and the people that are running the mutual funds, where a lot of you work for companies that have IRAs and all kinds of stuff, and you're putting those investments into funds. They're using, the people that are trading on a day-by-day basis with your money and who do that for a living, they're using software nowadays. I think most of you realize that. And the software is telling them how to trade. And the better the software, the better the trading, and the more successful they are as traders. Well, that's what USI did with Forex, and they had a very good reputation for many years with that. Then they started to sell the software. They moved beyond just using the software themselves to be dominating players as investors, but they moved on to selling the software. People could download it to their computer, and if somebody didn't really know how to trade on Forex, this would tell them, okay, here's some trends that are happening, buy here, sell here, and you could use it, and people were getting extraordinary returns. Again, this is pretty common knowledge stuff for those that are in the investing world, that there's these auto trading software systems that allow people to beat the market time and time again, because it's able to track a bunch of information of what's happening all across the exchange or the market, and read volume indicators and tell the person managing it, where the next trend's going to be, buy, sell, and you do extremely well. because you can manage all that information and move large sums of money around with very good information. Okay, so that's what they did for years. It was in Forex. Then they adapted that software for crypto trading. So they adapted and tweaked and modified that software to apply towards crypto trading. For those that don't know, there are hundreds and hundreds of different currencies in cryptocurrency besides just Bitcoin. Bitcoin's just one of them. And there's all kinds of movement going on all the time. And so they adapted their software to be able to tell them what's going on, where the volume's happening, and to buy here and sell here. And it's the buy low, sell high concept, but they have the software that they've been developing for years. Over 100 different versions of the software has been created. They're constantly focused on it. They're constantly developing it. They now brought AI into it, artificial intelligence, as have the big banks and financial institutions who trade on all the markets. But USI is dominating in the application of this concept of Autobot trading and AI software that tells you how to trade to do an exceptional, do exceptionally well. They've dominated that in crypto trading, and so they're taking the money that we're giving them, and that's how they're making a huge profit. And over the course of about 7 months, which is about the period of time where they're doing all this trading, they say they call it 140 work days, and I'll explain that in a minute. But it's about a 7-month period. They're able to make significant returns themselves, and with that, they're able to. One of the things, their expenses is us. They're giving us a 40% return. So that's it in a nutshell. I was going to mention arbitrage trading too. They're also doing arbitrage trading, which is basically no risk trading. It's only effective if you can move large volumes of money around very quickly. But basically, what arbitrage trading is you've got all these different exchanges where you can buy Bitcoin and sell Bitcoin or buy other cryptocurrencies. And in one exchange, Bitcoin might be slightly different price than another exchange. They're always at little bit different prices. And so if you have the right data and their software is telling them this, they can say, okay, sell in this exchange and buy in this exchange, and if you've got the right infrastructure in place and the right administration, you can do that immediately. And by doing that, you immediately just made money without risk, because you just basically sold from one exchange where it was higher priced, like let's say Bitcoin, and you just bought the same amount of Bitcoin at an exchange where it was lower priced in an instant. It's doing this all the time. So you can kind of start to imagine if a company had years of experience doing extremely well and having a good reputation in the Forex market with Autobot trading software, and then they tweaked that and they were able to apply that towards crypto trading, the cryptocurrency market, you can start to get an idea of how they might do extraordinarily unusually well and break a lot of old models and old concepts of what's possible. So that's what's happening. And so when you buy a BTC package, they're taking the money, they're investing it using their resources, their software, and their administration, and then they're able to pay extraordinary returns back. And that extraordinary return is exactly, and there's a variation here because they need some flexibility in case the market doesn't do as well, etc. So here, you might want to write this down. You're getting paid between 0.75% to up to 1.25% per day on weekdays for 140 days approximately. And I say 140 days approximately because they're going to keep paying you that 0.75% to 1.25%. From now on, I'll just say 1%, right? Because that averages to about 1%. It comes out, it seems like a little bit less than 1%, but I'm going to say 1% because it's easier. I'm going to show you exactly what it looks like. They have the whole accounting back here of how much I'm getting paid on all these different packages. So we'll look at that. But for simplicity's sake, I'm going to say about 1% they're paying you for 140 days. And when we say 140 days, I want you to know it's approximate, because if they were paying, let's say, less than 1% for a while, like let's say they're paying the 0.75% or 0.86% day after day, it might take more than 140 days for them to give you what they're promising. And what they're promising, it's not a guarantee, but it's been consistent. If the market goes wacky, then obviously they would drop this to stay stable and long term. But they have been consistent with this for well over 6 months. There's no reason to expect it to change at all. That they're going to pay 140% return. Now, that's not a profit of 140% like you might think of in the typical investing world. What it means is it's going to pay you about 1% a day, I'm going to say it again, it's going to pay you about 1% a day on weekdays for about 140 days, or whatever number of days is necessary, but it's about 140 days until you've gotten 140% back. And what that means is you've got a 40% profit back, because you get 100% of the money you put in for the pack, which is, again, about 60 bucks. You get all that back, but you're getting it in Bitcoin, plus 40%. So let me break that down another way. If I were to, here's all the packages I have. So if I click View and I go look, it's going to show me an itemized list of all the different packages I bought since the beginning, which was about 3 months ago that I started. It's going to tell you runtime, and like, so here's one I bought today. So runtime is, here's a package I bought. It's actually 4 packages. Here's a package ID. You can track all this very easily. The date, and they're actually located in Dubai. So this is listed as December 2nd, even though in my time, Pacific time, U.S., it's December 1st. But it shows that my last purchase that I just made was 4 BTC packages. It shows the total cost I paid for that, which was 0.0223. They're 60 bucks each, so that would have come up to about $240. And it shows runtime 0 because I just bought it today, so it hasn't started yet. It's going to start tomorrow. So it says payout percentage 0%. But if you look at some of the packages I bought yesterday, I bought one here. It shows the amount that I paid was 0.0055. Runtime 1 day, I got paid 0.96%, almost 1%. It shows the amount of Bitcoin that I received in my account. I didn't have to do anything for that. I received it seems like a little, but it starts to add up, and it's every day, every weekday. 0.00005 Bitcoin may not seem like a lot. That's about 1% of what I paid when I bought this one pack. But it compounds and it adds up, and that's what I'm going to talk about. So yesterday I also bought 21 packs here. By the way, I'm not having to use my own money to buy packs anymore. I did wire 50 grand of my own money. You don't have to do that. I've made 7-figure incomes for years, and I sold some stock and put it in here instead. You don't have to do that. But I mean, obviously I wanted to leverage it fully once I saw it working. Again, I started with 11 packs. You can start with 1 pack. Doesn't matter. My daughter started with just 3 packs. My 16-year-old daughter, using my account, because you can't get an account when you're 18, but until you're 18. But she has, her money, her Bitcoin now working for her through me, and she only started with 3 packs. So you can do the same thing, and now she's got Bitcoin growing. Like, as soon as she understood that she could have more Bitcoin, in a year, if she does this, she was all in. Now, it's a little difficult because of math and the complication of compounding to know exactly how much Bitcoin she's going to have, but I'm going to show you that and give you some resources. But don't overthink it. Remember, every day you don't have this happening, every day you wait, you're not growing more Bitcoin. So I know a lot of people, they will have to know exactly how much more Bitcoin they're going to get, and I'm going to get you as close to figuring that out as you can. There's a calculator back here. But just remember, if you get some in here, even if it's 1 package, you start growing Bitcoin. That's what's happening here. 21 packages I bought for 0.1173 yesterday. It's run for 1 day because I just bought it, so I got 0.96%. So look, I got this also on top of the other one. I also bought 4 other packs yesterday, so I got this. This is all, and if you look at all this, it shows all the packs that I bought, and look how many pages there are. There's 787 rows. Let me expand this out. So it's 200 rows. Let me see. Go to the bottom and see if that doesn't even show us everything. There's still like 4 pages of that. These are all the packs I bought in the last 3 months. And again, I used my money at first to get it started, but then I started getting this return on capital. I was getting Bitcoin growing, and instead of taking all that Bitcoin and cashing it out or whatever, I bought more packs with it to get the compounding going, and that's how you can really multiply this. And it's hard to wrap your head around at first, but it's huge. It's huge. I think it was Einstein that said that, I just paraphrase because I remember the exact quote, even though people have told it to me over and over again. But he basically said that compounding is the most powerful force in nature. It's hard to wrap your head around how this works, but you got to understand, I'm now able to buy all these packs using the return on capital. I'm also getting commissions because I'm building a business, but you could just use the return on capital and get it compounding and growing, and it's incredible, like my daughter's going to do. Like, she got 3 packs, and she's going to keep rebuying more packs with the return she's getting, and she's going to get more and more packs working for her, and she's going to get all this return. This is like every day on weekdays I'm getting this. Look at this. It adds up. So my point is, you'll have an itemized list of every pack you bought. If you just buy one, you'd see one back here, and you start to see every day more run time, more days. It's representing the number of days here. Like this one's run for 4 days. You know, and it runs for about 140 days till you got 140% back. Again, 140% not being profit. That means you got what you put in back plus 40%. So I'm growing all this Bitcoin, and then I'm using some of that to buy more packages to grow more Bitcoin. And you can do the same thing starting with one pack if you want to. So let me go back here real quick. Just remember, you can always go back there. As soon as you buy your first pack, you can just click right here on return on capital, and you can, I think that takes you to the exact same place as if you go to view active packages. Let me just confirm that real quick. So yeah, this just takes me to active packages and shows, it's going to show you the pack. If you just buy one package for 60 bucks, you'll start to see the number of days it's run. You'll see what you paid for that package in Bitcoin, and you'll see the percentage of payout that it's paying, because it fluctuates between 0.75% and 1.25% a day. I've noticed it kind of just falls somewhere about, it averages out at just a little bit under 1%. You're also going to be able to see the amount of Bitcoin you actually received. If you go back to the home page, though, there's another place you're going to see the total. So you don't have to always go look at that itemized list, especially if you start buying more packages or taking the return on capital you're getting and buying more packages and getting more working for you. You might not want to go to that big long list all the time. So right here it says lifetime return on capital. If you can look at my cursor here, 9.12. So in the last 3 months, I've gotten, you know, I've gotten over 9 Bitcoin, you know, which is right now it's almost at 11,000, so almost $100,000 if I were to cash that, I had cashed that in Bitcoin from the return on capital that I'm getting from the packages. Because again, USI is taking that money, they're investing it, they're making incredible returns, and there's other videos and stuff where they talk about it, and they're making insane returns with their software and with the arbitrage trading I talked about, and with the crypto trading that I talked about. And so they're able to pay this about 1% a day over about 140 days until we've gotten 140% back. Again, that's not 140% profit, that would be insane. It's 40% we've made on top of. Now here's how, you know, and I think you kind of started to catch it, some of you that are compounding math geniuses, but it can be much bigger than that. Much bigger return than just the 40% on top of what you put in over 7 months, over the 140 work days. Much more than that. So let me explain that. If you just take that, like when it starts, let's say you buy a package and it starts giving you your daily return on capital here. You see it adding up, and you see it adding up here in the total, and then every day this is showing you what you got that day in Bitcoin. I haven't gotten yet. This is what's coming today to deposit in here. And then I'm going to buy more packages because I want to get even more working for me. I'm going to get up to 5,000 packages. So, but if you do that and you see it adding up, now you can withdraw it like I was mentioning earlier. But if instead of withdrawing it, you purchase more BTC packages and get more BTC packages working for you, you know, paying that daily return too. And then you take that and you buy more, and then you take that and you buy more. You now have a compounding effect, and you can multiply the amount of Bitcoin you have way beyond just a 40% more Bitcoin over 140 work days, about 7 months. Way more than that, 40%. You can end up doubling, tripling, quadrupling, even multiplying by 28 times. And, you know, we have a PDF that kind of shows you that. We have all kinds of things that can kind of help you understand how that works. But I think the easiest way to see it is to go to, where is it? Commissions, and there's a calculator in here somewhere. BTC package calculator, right here. You guys have access to this in your back office. And you can start to play around with, okay, if I'm starting, like let's say I'm starting with 100 BTC packages, just for simplicity's sake. And the average return of capital per working day, let's say it's 1%. You can even, You know, you can even put that a little, it's not going to be 0.5%. They always pay more than that. It's about 1%. It seems like it's been between 0.9 and 1. And then your rebuy, let's just say it's 0.9. It's been higher than that. Like today you saw it was 0.96. Let's just put it at 0.9 to be more conservative. And then the rebuy percentage, what this means is, do you want to take 100% of the return on capital you're getting to buy packages with, or do you want to maybe take half of it out and put half of it back in? Now, at first I did 100%. Like I was all in. I even stopped like buying coffees. I stopped going out to eat. I was putting everything into packages. That's how I really got this going. But I recommend people start with 100%, and then when you get to a certain goal and you get a sizable return, then you can start lowering this. You know, start taking some of the money and just have maybe half, and eventually you can just take the money if you wanted to once it gets big. But at first, when you're building them up, let's look at how this works. I want you to see how the compounding effect can happen. How you can multiply your Bitcoin way beyond just the 40% extra you would get after 7 months. So I click 100%, meaning I'm going to rebuy with all of that for a period of time. Now we hit redisplay. So now it's going to show you how much more you will have made over a period of time. So here it says working days, and you look on down the number of days that it's happening, and the first 140 days, let me back up here, the first 140 days or so, I've set it on 90%, so it's got to go to like 157 days. You're getting back that 40%. Or that first 140%, so it's a 40% profit. But as you scroll down and you go past 157 days, you start to see how much more you're making. So let's look at what this column says on top so you can be clear on this. So package total value, you're starting out with, if you get 100 packages, that's 0.5462 Bitcoin, which is about $6,000. But that's what it would cost to get 100 packages. Again, you could start with one. You could play around with this. But let's say we started with 100, costs about $6,000, which is 0.5462. But if we're getting 0.9%, they're actually paying more than that, but just to be conservative, it's about 1%. It's a little less than 1%, but usually more than 0.9. And you're rebuying with all the return on capital, and we scroll down to, let's just scroll down to 200 days. You would have turned that Bitcoin, you would have grown that Bitcoin into 2.1 Bitcoin. So now if Bitcoin in 200 days is at 20,000, if you had not done this, you would have 0.5462 Bitcoin still, at $20,000. Let's see what that is. I'm just going to show you what the difference is here. So let's say Bitcoin goes to $20,000, which all the experts say is going to pass, and we multiply that by 0.5462. So when it hit $20,000, you would have $10,924. But because you did the BTC packages and you did the rebuy for 200 days, and that's at 0.9%, they're actually paying a little bit more than that, but let's just be conservative. Where did I lost the 200-day mark. Okay, so instead of $10,000, let's see what you'd make. 2.1574 times 20,000. So instead of, you had about 10,000 last time, now you have 43,000. So 4 times as much. Even though Bitcoin went to 20,000, that's great, but before you only make $10,000. You only have $10,000 because you only had 0.5 Bitcoin. You've multiplied the amount of Bitcoin you have by 4. So you have 4 times as much. Let's keep going though. Let's say you keep rebuying. Let's say you keep rebuying up to 300 days. You've now got it up to 3.53 Bitcoin. You've multiplied, let's see, what is that? You've multiplied it, let's see, 7 times. So now you'll have like 70,000, no, even more than that. Let's see what that would be. It's like 7 times more. So 3.5393 times 20,000. So Bitcoin goes to 20,000. Yeah, $70,000 instead of 10,000. So you can start to see like how powerful this is and why people are so excited about it. It's the power of compounding. Now let's say you're able to put in 500 packages and you're rebuying with the return on capital for a certain number of days. Let's say, so you're starting out with, it would cost 2.72 Bitcoin to do that now. But let's say you do the rebuy for, let's just go to 200 days. Instead of that, you would have, when you're done with those 200 days, you'd have almost 11 Bitcoin. So instead of, you would turn your 2.7 Bitcoin into almost 11 Bitcoin. Man, that's powerful. So let's say Bitcoin stays the same. It's gonna go way up, but let's say it stays the same. Let's just say Bitcoin stays the same. You're starting out with 2.725 Bitcoin times, let's say 10,800. That's what it is right now. So you're starting out with 29,000 Bitcoin. And let's say it stays the same over 200 days. You would have the same amount of money. But if you have, I know it was just under 11, but I'm just going to do, I can't remember exactly what it was. I'm going to do 10 point, it was higher than 10.8. Let's say you let it run in here for 200 days, 10.8 times 10,800. Let's say Bitcoin stays the same. Now you're going to have, what is that? You're going to have 116,640 instead of 20,000 or whatever it was. 116,640 instead of, let me add this up again, instead of 29,000. So you turned 29,000 into 116,000 over 200 working days just because you put it in here instead of holding it. That's if Bitcoin stays the same. If it goes up, then you magnify that massively. Like let's say now, one more time, you leave it in for 200 days, so it was like it was over 10.8, and let's say it goes up to 20,000. You'd have 216,000 that you would turn it into. So it should be pretty clear right now, even if it's not like you're not grasping all of it 100%, that like the power of compounding, letting USI work for you, like it's worth a try, right? It's worth a try. And like even if you want to come back here and test out like 10 packages or one package, doesn't matter where you're starting from. My daughter's starting with 3 packages, and she's going to rebuy for a year. She's going to have more Bitcoin at the end of the year than she started from. It's kind of a no-brainer. So my recommendation, oh, and look at here. So I got my daily return deposited. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to buy more packages. And I have another video on how to do that, but I'm going to go here, I'm going to go to rebuy, and I'm going to buy more packages, see how many I can buy. I'll just do it right now. So I can buy more than 50. Okay, I can buy 69. And I'm just going to use that return I got because I'm doing this process. I want it compounding. I want more packages working for me. So I'm going to buy that. So I just bought 69 more packages. It cost me 4,229, and now I'm going to grow more Bitcoin. Because I just got paid, you know, like something like somewhere near 0.389 Bitcoin, which is over $4,000. I just received that because the other package is working for me because I'm doing this strategy. And now I just took that and I bought 69 more packages. Let me make sure they went through. I bought 69 more packages, and now tomorrow I'm going to get paid. So I got the 69 packages. Check it out. You were here earlier. Here's the package ID number. Here's today's date. Again, it's 1 day ahead because they're on Dubai time. I did the rebuy. Didn't have to use my own money because I got this thing started. I started with my own money, but now it's rolling. I bought 69. It costs 0.3997 Bitcoin. It hasn't run yet. Tomorrow this is going to be 1, and tomorrow it's going to show a percentage somewhere around 1%, just under 1%, and then it's going to show the amount of Bitcoin that I made. So I got it working for me instead of taking it. Sometimes I take it, but most of the time right now I'm still putting it back in. It hasn't shown up here yet. It will. I don't think it did. I can't remember now. But here, this keeps the total amount of packages that you have. Sometimes it takes a couple minutes, even more sometimes, to show up on the dashboard. But I mean, this is incredible. And then tomorrow, this is going to be bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. I've been doing this for 3 months. Literally, it's been less than 3 months. In a couple of days, it'll be 3 months from my start date. 3 months ago today, I wasn't quite sure. 3 months ago today, um, I had just gotten to the point where I was ready to try and buy a package. In fact, let's go look at my date where I bought my first package. When I bought my first package, I still wasn't quite sure. It was probably where a lot of you are. How do I find my get back to where we just were? One sec. So yeah, I want to show you when I bought my first package, because at that very point, I'll just go to the end of this. Look at the date. So it was September 3rd. Oh, I thought I bought 11. I only bought 7 my first time, and then but you'll notice later that day, I buy 18 more. So I bought 7 to test with, and then I went ahead and bought 18 more. This was my early test. When I did that, and you can see here it's been running 65 days, work days, because that's work days. That's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. They don't pay you on Saturday and Sunday. I think they take a vacation. But or they're, I don't know. But they're paying you on weekdays, and it is splendid. Exactly how they have this set up is absolutely incredible. So payout percentage 58.31% I've gotten so far. So you can see it's under 1%. But total, the point is, I've grown just on that first package. I've grown 0.1325 Bitcoin. That's insane. Just on that first, this first day purchase of these 18 packs, 0.13. I mean, that's like almost $2,000 now. Or let's see, what is that? That's $1,500 that I've gotten so far just on that one decision. I get paid on all of these. So when I bought these packages this first day, I got to tell you, I wasn't quite sure. Like, I was still figuring it out. I'd seen enough from the company. You can watch our company videos. You can watch all my old webinars and the conclusions I went through, and how they're working with compliance, and how they've, their attorneys in discussions constantly with the SEC. They're very transparent, open about this stuff, and they're leading the way in terms of being compliant and so forth. So I knew that this had long-term viability, but I still didn't quite understand it yet, exactly how it worked. I don't think anyone quite explained it and broke it down in as much detail and nuance as I just did with you today, but I saw enough to try it. Now, if you just you don't want to risk a lot, maybe 18 packages, plus the 7 that I got is, I think that's 25, right? Maybe that's too many for you to test with. Then start with 1. But the point is, I started with it, and then I started seeing the return on capital, and then I got it. Like, then you start to ask really good questions, and you start to really see, it just hits you differently, and you start to really understand how it works. And I started to understand how the compounding worked and the rebuy. My recommendation to you at this point is just start with something small, get a package, and see it start working. Notice the return on capital. You do want to set your rebuy at 100% automated. I don't rely on it 100% because I notice I still do it manually a lot because I want to get that rebuy going as fast as I can, but I do have it set on 100% rebuy to do it automated. It just doesn't seem to always work the way it should, and I think it's just because the site's bogged down a lot, so it's not fast at doing the rebuy automatically. But you should go ahead and set it. So if you do get some packages, be sure to go to package options, rebuy, and package options, rebuy setup, and put this at 100%. In fact, I had mine turned off because I was having an issue. I was trying to test it and see why isn't it rebuying more, and I think it's just kind of slow. And you don't need to know what this is right now. It's include unit level and car bonus and rebuy. I had that set at yes. I leave this at 100%. Save settings. Oh, I know. I turned it off because I wanted to do withdrawal, which I did do yesterday, because I want to buy the Diamond Package tokens, which we'll talk about in another session. The BTC is where you want to start, though. The BTC package, get it working for you, get it compounding, start with something small, see it working, and start to figure out how it works as you go, starting with something that isn't a big risk to you. And then as you start to understand it better and see it working and get the questions you need answered to do the bigger investment, then go ahead and do that. But even if you have to start with something small like my daughter did, she started with 3 packages, and it's growing. Now she's growing her Bitcoin. And at the end of the year, even in 6-7 months, actually even less than that, in 4 months, she will have had a lot more Bitcoin that she's holding on to than she'd otherwise have. The power of compounding can change lives financially when you can apply it towards Bitcoin and grow the amount of Bitcoin you have. It's incredible. Bitcoin is going to keep going up. It might go down temporarily here and there as people, take profits and so forth because it's been so extraordinary. But over time, and if you look at it over a 3-month period benchmark instead of day to day or week to week, you see it's on a steady incline up, and all the experts are saying it's going to go past 100,000. Next year, it's believed to go past 40,000 in 2018. All I can say is that growing Bitcoin and taking advantage of the USI tech opportunity to tap into this has been financially life-changing for me. I mean, I've generated in total 50 Bitcoin. You can watch a different video to find out how I've also generated this lifetime commissions of 41 Bitcoin. You can get that in a different video and ask questions. Reach out to the person who referred you to learn about that. But even if all you do is just buy a BTC package and let it work in here for you, set the rebuy up on autopilot, or even come in here manually and do the rebuys a little bit faster like I showed you today, you'll have an extraordinary growth in the amount of Bitcoin that you hold. So as Bitcoin goes up, you have significantly more Bitcoin to cash in on, and if Bitcoin does go down temporarily, you don't sweat it because you're hedging, because you have more Bitcoin to work with, so you didn't lose even if Bitcoin goes down. It'd have to go down a lot. So this is just phenomenal both ways, and for those who know where Bitcoin's going, you know that having more Bitcoin can set you up for life. If you can find ways to grow it, do it, and this is a phenomenal way to do just that. All right, I'll see you in the next video. Keep learning, but right now focus on getting a BTC package because nothing teaches you faster than getting those returns on capital the next day. I'll see you soon.